Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to Retro Spectrum Gaming. It's time for another review. You'll have seen it early in the week if you're keeping up to date. Facebook.com or YouTube.com/Retro Spectrum Gaming. It is time for us to take in the absolute delights of Nigel Mansell's World Championship. It's the second of two games from our Nige. Is Nigel Mansell's World Championship gold? I'm still trying to decide whether it's a silver or a gold, but let's go through it and see if I can make up my final mind. I do have a sneaky suspicion at the end of it I am going to recommend this, but you all knew that anyway. Right then, we're in 128K mode. There's the 48K version, but we're just going to go for the full 128K experience here. And bring up our tape. There we go. This is the best you get as your loading screen, the Gremlin Graphics logo coming through. Licensed by Foca Fuji Television and Nigel Mansell's World Championship. And again, we've got that dithered look. You saw that in quite a few Spectrum games at this point in its career. For some reason, the Renault logo is in there. I have no idea. And now we have to turn the tape over. So you've done a full loading. And I suspect that's loading in some pages into the 1Q8K. And rather than store the levels, I'm saying levels, the different racetracks, you have to keep rewinding the tape to load it in again because it's a one-time shot. Anyway, groovy music. I mean, it's groovy music. It's not Fleetwood Mac's The Chain, but it will do. And again, we can see that sort of dithered logo that you'll see and get the feeling of that a lot. So it's a typical racing game. You can race a single circuit, you can go a full race season, you can do your practicing, and you can set up your controls. So let's just first of all make sure that we are on our dual shock Kempston. There we go. Change drivers. Nope, I'm going to say is our Nige. Red 5. Driving a Williams. Choose preferences. Automatic gears. Miles an hour. Normal level. Professional level. Championship level. So there we go. And exit through there. Enter season password. So it doesn't save off your progress if you're doing the World Championship. What you do is you get a long string of characters. You have to write them down. And then it types them back in again. So that keeps track of your points and where you are and what races you are up to. So you don't have to go scrambling for a tape, blank tape, to get everything in. Okay, so let's race a single circuit. I'm going to show you two circuits to get a feel of everything. So the first one is we're going to do the classic of Monaco. Now you'll have seen me doing a single race of Monaco earlier on in the week. But for right now, it's just so you can see here that we've got this spinning globe, and it's struggling to keep up with the spectrum processor, struggling to keep up with the code. You've got the idea of, the picture of the racing as the track overlays, and it's just a bit sluggish, and the highlights doing the color clash thing. And this is where you get the idea that it's been pulled back down from 16-bit, and there's only been a limited amount of budget and time to actually get that through. This is a simple screen that you could do a lot of work with as a developer if you had the time. You could have a much smoother globe, you could sort the music so it doesn't slow down, but no, it was bang, up and out of the door. Okay, anyway, Monaco. Okay, and even though I've selected Kempston, by the way, you'll notice that the Kempston doesn't actually move any of the controls. The Kempston and the driving is only in the game. When you're in the menus, it is all off QAOP and space. Okay, right, so soft tires, because we're going to Monaco, and we'll just watch the tires get flipped all around on the car. It's Monaco, so we want high downforce, so we'll go to the high downforce rear wing, and gear ratios, it's Monaco, so we've got low gear ratios so we can get out quickly out of there, and we're on the auto gear because it's a Spectrum and it's so sluggish otherwise. And you know what, let's just go for the race. Let's just go for the race and take it through that way. So Gremlin Graphics had a lot of driving games at the end of Spectrum. Quite like, there we go, I can hear the revs on the engine now. Gremlin Graphics had a fair number of racing games in the latter half of the Spectrum's life, and pretty much all of them had this same sort of style of roads and the dithering and the graphics that popped up. Chief amongst those, there's Toyota Celica GT Rally is one, and another would be Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge, not the Durrell one, the one that allows you 2-player on the same screen that ran even slower than this. The difference here is that they've actually opened up the screen a little bit more, so you've got a slightly wider look to the higher look to the screen. It gives you just a little bit more forward looking, but you still have a huge amount of pop-up at the last minute. Now, you could compromise that and say that, well, you know, that's what Formula One's like. You do get cars suddenly appearing, but you have the low frame rate, and there's maybe only like 6 or 7 stages of how close the car is to you. You know, it's just different graphics copied over it. It's not sort of scaled graphics or anything. This is a really, really quick way of doing it in terms of coding and everything. And just, you know, that can work if you've got a lot more key animation frames, and you just don't have them here. And you'll also see that I'm making a complete pig veer of this track. So if you know your Formula 1 and when you have the Mercedes team talking to Lewis Hamilton, Lewis just goes, "Shut up, just let me drive, I don't want to talk to you." This is why. It's got to really, really make sure of what you are doing. What else is it worth pointing out here? Yeah, the road itself looks good. Trackside furniture, you've got a pole or an oil can, and that's it. No matter where you go, Monaco, Monza, you've just got the same trackside furniture. Again, it just, you know, there's not been a lot of time, but the design doesn't allow for any sort of Armco or different bits. In fact, the only real difference you get is you occasionally it's only one track. You get the tunnel at Monaco, and you occasionally get a sort of bridge or banner going across the road. You will see one coming up now. There we go. And that's pretty much it. Now, you'll spot it there that I kind of knew what was coming up, and this is one of the good things about the game, which is it does map the circuits pretty well in terms of left and right of the corners. It doesn't necessarily get the depth of the corners just right. I mean, that there should be a hairpin that goes at like 45 miles an hour or so. This whole section of the track in real life is a very gentle curve to the right. Here it's basically regarded as a straightaway, and these are two very small kinks that we've just went through there on going up the hill, and they're full on left right corners. But, and here's the thing, if I was younger and I had picked up this game, it has to be 1993, so I would have been 19 at the time, so if I'd picked it up a couple of years before, when I was say 15 or so, I wouldn't have noticed those things. I just would have went, this is Monaco, this is the tunnel, and after the tunnel we have that slight turn to the right, and then we've got the Nouveau Chicane that come up, which is just this fast left right, and then we're heading into the back as we go around there, and we're into that left right left at the swimming pool complex, left, and on there's a car pops in the way and it's Monaco, and you just get stuck behind it for absolutely ever, and then you do that there and you turn your right round at Rascal. So it does feel in its own special way like the Grand Prix tracks. I mean, yeah, you've got the map at the top of the circuit, and I've got to say at some points that's just completely useless, and it puts turns where it's not turns, so there's a slight compromise at the top there. So it's not brilliant in terms of, you know, how it matches up to the real world, but at the same time it is. And this sort of sits that it's not quite an arcade game. It's, you know, in a sense of like something like Super Monaco Grand Prix, where you've got a timer and a countdown, and you're much more arcadey in terms of your left and right. You still got to remember where the corners are. You've still got to work around the circuit and you've still got to know the circuits to get a really good lap in. But also, it's not quite there. You don't have to take your racing line to the fastest bit. If you're in a right-hand corner, just make sure you're leaning on right. If you're in a left-hand corner, just make sure you're leaning on the left, and you can get through. So it's a very light driving game. It's more than an arcade, but it's just not completely there in terms of what we now know you can get in a driving game. Because remember, this is coming at the same time, something like a Microprose Grand Prix 2 in Windows PC, and that was just the bee's knees. But corners are in the right place. If it's a shallow corner, you don't need to lean too much into the corner. You get a feel of the racing line, even though it's not perfect. You do get a sense of speed going through, and it all sits together quite nicely. If we bring up Monza, for example, which is a really fast track, you're going to see the best and the worst of this game all in one. So we'll just go straight for a race on this one. Actually, is this the Monza circuit? Yes. No. It is. It's got all the right corners, but not necessarily in the right angle. Can't quite get the quote in there. But you've got that bridge that goes underneath. You've got the scary complex. The double chicane at the back. You've got the long pull on the back straight and the front straight. You've got an attempt at the parabolica. See, it's just not letting me tuck in. I've got to slow all the way down to 60. You've got back markers that you're just on them in a flash. See if we can get this chicane complex getting just right. Watch the. There we go. Right, and you still need. There we go. That's what we're looking for. With a bit of knowledge and a bit of forethought, you can get a nice rhythm round the track. And if I'd been 15, 16 when this came out and had picked it up and was playing it, it would be the bee's knees for me. You can do the full Formula 1 Grand Prix Championship. You get to race as Nigel in a Williams in the days when Williams was a good car. And you can learn the circuit, and you can just take the corners and just line everything up right. So for example, we're coming at that second complex, so let's just get ready for left foot, long right. Now I stop myself because I can't get those cars out of the way. You get frustrated. You've got to be perfect on the ball. The younger me would have went, this is Formula 1. This is perfect. Now I look at it and go, it's pretty arcadey, but it's got some nice touches to it, and I've been enjoying playing it this week, and that comes down to it. That's the main thing. I enjoy playing it even now. It's got a light touch to being a driving game. It follows Formula 1, but for some reason it thinks that Eric van der Poele is a good driver. Now, I had to look him up to find out what his Formula 1 results are, and he DNQ'd over 2 years, bar 5 races. He finished 9th at the San Marino Grand Prix, he finished 13th at the South African Grand Prix, retired at Hungary, retired at Monza, and was 10th at Belgium. This is his entire finish over 2 years of Grand Prix racing. 3 times seeing the checkered flag, a 9th, 10th and a 13th. Yet the game here thinks he's an absolute driving god. Apart from that, what's coming up. It's definitely recommended. It's on the gold step. It's fun to play. It's got enough removed from being an arcade game that you've got to use a different skill set on it, and it's just really great for dipping into and out to. So, Nigel Mansell's World Championship, thumbs up, recommended. Not necessarily for everybody. I don't think it's going to be to everybody's taste, but I do think there's going to be a lot of you out there that are going, yeah, that works. I'm Ian Spence, it's been Retrospect from Gaming. If you like the video, press the like if you're on YouTube and press subscribe. If you're watching this on Facebook, follow and like the page facebook.com/retrospectrumgaming. Ta-ra for now. Have you enjoyed this video? Would you like to see more? Before you click through to watch something else, why not follow the link to help me make more fun reviews, clips and content?